back to all of my Elevate Fusic365 fans. Listen, we have another special guest, instructor, performer, judge in the building. Shout out ShoShannah. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Listen, we're going to jump right into our interview right after these commercials.
Pushing the gas and along with the pedal. We not the same, we on different levels. You say the same, but yo, I cannot settle. I'm bringing the bass and you bringing the treble. Pushing the gas and along with the pedal. We not the same, we on different levels. You say the same, but yo, I cannot settle. I'm bringing the bass and you bringing the treble. Put the money in the bag, I mean several. Try and take it in your hand, we'll get severed. Spraying my heat, you must think I'm the devil. And I'm in the rest, you know I'm ahead of him. Heroes, he must be a peddling, settling. No, I'm bringing the adrenaline. Better than niggas at the door and heddling, meddling. All up in the
Sin atraso, soy un elatrano, braviarte que Picasso. Sinfonías de mis dientes se convierten en un palo. Pinto mis sentimientos, un universo y estoy creando. Sé que lo puedes ver, difícil comprender. Es mi forma de ser, realeza y poder. Se retiró R de reggaetón, llegó la reina.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Elevate Fusic365 Dance Convention and Competition podcast. We have a special guest, ShoShannah. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead and talk about your style of dance, and just a little bit about, what you do and or what have done already.
Okay. I am ShoShannah, Estell. I have over, I would say, the last 12 years, 13 years of my life, I have been a belly dancer, a world fusion performer. I like to consider myself a contemporary performer.
Okay.
As far as contemporary fusion goes.
Yes.
Fusion, world
Fusion
goes. I've been, oh my goodness, I've done so many conventions, competitions. I traveled performing with Belly Dance Evolution based out of LA.
Okay.
And that's led by Jelena Carlano. And then I traveled with Keishi Chai, with Belly Queen, and that's based out of New York.
Okay.
And they all specialize in theatrical fusion. So
go into the mic.
Oh, I got to get a little closer. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. So anyway, so I've had this awesome experience of traveling the world and getting to learn about and share and just experience belly dance as we know it in the Western world.
Absolutely.
But more of like it's also referred to as like rock sharky, and I love to take just the fusion and bring it all together.
And bring it together.
But
I love it.
Yeah, I came from a background of modern and ballet and jazz and hip hop, but I blew my knee out. I was obsessed. I was just wanted to every moment. I was dancing. I was working out. I was
same.
So I blew my knee out.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I was actually going to ask, how did you get into belly dancing? Because that's not a traditional, I guess you can say, style of dance or route that people go. They'll normally say, I'm a hip hop dancer, or I'm a ballet dancer, or a jazz dancer, or, that type of thing. What made you go down the route of belly dancing?
Oh my goodness. It was, I was pretty devastated when I had to have the knee surgery, and that put me out for about 6 months.
Right.
And during that time, I was trying to heal, and I was in the gym, and I heard this just earthy drum music, and I was like, "Ooh,
what is that?" Right.
And then I heard this instructor, and she was like, "Get it, woo!" And she just hip dropping and shimmying.
Yes.
And I was like, "What is this magical place?"
Yeah.
And I went into the class, and that's when I actually met my first instructor.
Okay.
Which her name is Kendra, and that's where I met Kendra, and was like, "Oh my gosh, I am home.
Yeah,
I am home. This feels
good. It clicked.
Warmth. Like, it was just warmth in my soul. And I was like, I have got to know what this is.
Yes.
So I started to study with her, and that went on for about 3 months. And then she was like, we have to get you with
Yeah,
someone.
you have to take this serious.
We have to get you somewhere, and you've got to study more. And I ended up moving to Atlanta, and I studied with Gina Weatherman and Leora, and I studied 2 different styles because belly dance and rock sharky, this world dance arena.
Break it down too, because I don't think, and even myself, I'm not really familiar with this. So break down like the different dynamics of belly dancing, and in the simplest way that you can. I know you could be here all night.
How long do we have?
Right.
My goodness. So there's a lot of different styles, although it's really similar to if you look at it like you look at Western dance. You know, you have your ballet,
Right.
That and belly dance translates to like your folkloric and your rock sharkies, and then you've got your modern, and that's going to be your breakaway, your American cab, and your kind of a bit more of what we call like golden era belly dance and things like that. Like that kind of goes into that era, and then you and that kind of covers your jazz. I actually would say that would be your ballet would be your folklore. Your jazz would kind of be that golden era American cabaret,
right?
And then you go into your modern, which that would be the birth of what we used to call tribal fusion. It's now known as just fusion or transnational fusion, because you get into kind of different territories when you're using verbiage. You have to be really cautious and respectful of things.
For sure, because it's definitely a cultural thing.
Yes. And then from that, actually what was born in the U.S. was the American tribal style, and that was by Carolina Naricchio. And once again, the verbiage has shifted.
Right.
And from there...
That's
it took off.
Yeah.
There was this style of fusion, Gothic fusion. You have, jazz fusion, modern fusion, contemporary fusion, and then you just
consumes you.
it's and there's so much to learn everywhere. I mean, the folkloric alone would take you a lifetime.
Yeah,
just the folkloric alone, because you have to think about all the different, because you're dealing with not only Africa with all of your folkloric dances, but you've also got Lebanon, you've got Turkey, you've got Greece. All of these things are mixed together. I mean, there's 22 countries.
That's where the fusion ends up coming into. Okay, I love it. So preparing, like, I guess you could say even for performance or even choreography wise, how does that go? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like? Because, jazz, let's just say tap. You have your flaps, you have your kick steps, your step ball changes. What does that look like? Or what are the basic moves or traditional moves that are put in or fused in? I'm not even sure how
my goodness.
to word
so,
it.
You're like, what do you even do?
Yeah, like how do you prepare for a performance?
So if you always want to stay true. And this is also true for the belly dance world. I'll just use that general terminology because everyone's really familiar with that. But once again, I do want to just let everyone know and the general public know that there is a shift happening in verbiage.
Absolutely.
So if you hear other terms or you see like rock sharky or other things,
they're referring to.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of keep your mindset open. But for now, I'll just use that kind of general term.
Okay.
Because it's more hips than belly, you guys. It's more hips, more hips than belly. So it is. But whatever you're going to do, you want to stay true to your form. So if you are going to go into like a shabi or a khaliji, or you're going into something else, you really got to study that before you
performing anything.
You have to know the rules to fuse the rules. Have to know them.
That is a good rule of thumb.
You have to know them. And for the belly dance world, there are a lot of dancers who do fusion or only started in belly dance because this art form brings a lot of people who are more mature.
Right, absolutely.
You have a lot of people who end up finding this a little bit later in their dance journeys or maybe their first dance journey.
Right.
And you have to, if you're going to fuse modern or you're going to fuse ballet or you're going to fuse something else, as scary as it might be, you have to be in those classes.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you're going to fuse ballet with belly dance, and we have done this before, and
it's fire.
On point.
Yeah.
I mean, Sabah is a really famous dancer known for doing that. I've done it myself. One of my other colleagues, Jill Collins, she's done it. There is a lot of fusion with that, and it goes really well together.
Yeah. I love it.
But there's that connection where you have to, if you're going to do that, you have to take belly dance classes. You have to understand with that world, there is just, I mean, your shimmies, your hip drops, your chest circles, your isolations, your footwork.
Yeah.
Understanding the flavor of it, and I like to also call it the texture of it.
Yeah.
Is it earthy?
Yeah.
What is your music saying?
Yeah.
Never dance to words unless you know
What the words are. Yes.
because in Middle Eastern music, there's a lot of there are maqams.
Yeah.
And in your maqams, there are tonal differences
Yeah.
and feelings, and someone may be singing something very. It sounds
but they are
happy.
singing a sad song. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking song.
sad, and someone's up there dancing.
Yeah, yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah, no. Yeah, you didn't do your homework.
You didn't do your
You didn't do your homework. We see who
Just
read.
study more.
Yeah.
Just study more. But that's what that's where I start. And typically for me, I'm an improv dancer.
Okay.
So everything I do is improv. But when I dance with my group or I dance with the Show Fusion studio or with my duet partner or with someone else, we do choreograph.
Yeah.
And
So what does that look like? Like getting ready for a performance? Like how do you, like, this is going to be the first move, you know? Like I'm just trying to see because it's so different.
honestly, typically for me, it's an immediate vision.
Okay.
So for the way that my mind works like a, especially with choreography, like a kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
So I can immediately see
The bigger
dimensions.
picture. Right.
Sometimes my dancers are like, if any of them are out there, they look at me sideways. I'm like, I don't know about this until the final, and they can see the final product and see everything. So I typically start with, what is my story? What am I telling? What are we conveying to the audience? Because we do a lot of theatrical fusion. So like for the performance that we're going to do for this event, it's a theatrical fusion.
Yes.
And it's not about the butterfly being in the cocoon, and it's not about the butterfly after the cocoon.
Yeah.
It's the butterfly right as it comes
Coming
from
out.
the
Yeah.
cocoon.
Yes.
And it's this whirlwind of madness, and it's adjusting to that.
Yeah.
And then being the butterfly. So
Yeah.
it's literally that
that small piece of moment.
few
Yeah,
seconds
yeah.
is what that theatrical moment is going to be like. So you think about your storyline, because dance is a story.
Absolutely.
It's a story for everyone. You don't just randomly.
This has been consistent with everybody I have interviewed today, telling a story. So if you don't take anything away, take this.
Well, because you want a complete thought. And it doesn't have to be like, one day I went to the store and I found this and I ran across this. It could literally be a complete thought of like this microphone. You know, we're sitting here together. What is this?
Yeah.
What is happening here? It could literally be an expression of this moment.
Yeah.
But it needs to be a complete thought.
Yeah. Instead of something that's kind of sporadic, if it's going to be that type of performance.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It has to be something. Now, if you're just out and you're just feeling the groove and you're in the club, I mean, just dancing.
Yeah.
You'd be like, don't mess with my story.
Right. Because you don't need to know this story.
You don't.
I'm having a good time.
This is a different story. It's not about you.
I love it.
Yeah, so there's a time and a place for everything. But when you're creating and you're expressing, you know, a lot of my movement comes from the energy of the dancers.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the dancers I'm working with, what the capabilities are at that moment in time. Because I want to make them look good, because
Yeah.
the better you look, the more confident you feel, and especially with our world of dance. You really want that confidence to shine and for the dancers to feel good.
Absolutely. So within the classes you've been teaching, because you taught some yesterday, right? And then you have some today still, or are you done for today?
The theatrical performance will be, that class is at 4:30 to 6:30.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of setting the stage and seeing, even if you've had no experience with belly dance and you're just like, oh my gosh, we're playing with props. We've got wings, we have fan veils, we have veils. Because in our dance world, you do get up and just perform and dance, but there also is kind of that expectation for you to know your zills or your finger symbols, to know your veil, to know your fan veil, to know void, to know poi. Some dancers work with fire, like
ShoShannah knows her stuff, y'all.
It's a lot of stuff.
ShoShannah knows her stuff, okay? She's tapped in. What I'm getting from it is if you don't know, don't perform it.
If you are unsure of it, seek it out.
Absolutely.
Find it so
Absolutely.
you can do it justice.
Right.
Because people will still just fuse and perform anything, but you want to have educated fusion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with other cultures, because somebody out there is going to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you're doing something that may be offensive to, I mean, I can't say don't offend anybody because, you know,
it's going to be, everybody can't be happy, but the masses.
But when you're mixing cultures, you really need to be cautious and mindful and just do your homework. And if you don't know, just ask someone. Don't ever be afraid to ask.
Absolutely.
Never be afraid to just walk into a class or try something new.
Right.
Never be afraid to do that.
What does your instructor process look like? So with knowing what you know as not just an instructor, but a performer and a student as well, what do you pass along to those students who are, I guess, wanting to get into it, or this is their first class, or they aren't really looking to take it as seriously or go professional with it? This is something that they're doing as and I would hate to say a hobby, but, you know, how do you approach that? Because it's a difference in, you know, those types of students or those types of dancers. So how do you approach that? And especially with what you do, your style of dance?
Well, I have a lot of my dancers are like, they have full-time jobs, they're mothers, they're grandmothers, they're retired, or, you know, they've come into this a little later. And that's my job. My job is to, if we get on stage and we're doing a performance, like we do Arts and Heart or other things, we put on a lot of theatrical productions as well, just within the studio. Or if they have a chance to go to a convention or a competition, I try once again to make sure that they are always comfortable, always taking care of their bodies.
Yeah.
Because you want to, I mean, we have dancers in our field that are dancing at 89.
Yeah.
Isis in Texas dances at 89 with like 6 swords.
Yeah.
So there's
possibilities.
There's a possibility to continue to dance, to take care of your body. It's different. The sands shift.
Yeah. Yeah,
Things
they do.
shift in your body as if we're blessed, you know, if we are lucky enough to get to be more mature and to be able to express ourselves still at those ages.
Yes.
So I take that into account. I always tell them if I'm doing a movement and you're uncomfortable with it, let's talk about it after class, or let me give you an option. Always give options. Always give options.
Always.
I try to make sure that, like, if it's your first class and you've just come in and you're like, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
Yes.
I always discuss some of the history. These are, you know, resources to look more into it, because you are as good as your knowledge.
Yeah.
You are as so you just keep feeding yourself, keep getting that knowledge.
What do you know?
What do you know?
Absolutely.
And never stop. It doesn't matter. Like, you may think that you know a shimmy, and then you find out, you know, you study with an instructor. Happened with me whenever I studied with an instructor. Her name is Bojanka. And I was like, oh yeah, I know shimmies. I did not know.
You did not know shimmies.
I walked out of that class. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know shimmies now.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's
and
good.
then I worked on them for 5 years to make sure that I actually, because I was taught to express those shimmies a little differently, and she taught me how to express them in a different realm, because it's all about your accents and the way you're expressing.
There's more one way to skin a cat.
More than one way. So I make sure that they know the history, and then we start really soft. We start with a really soft warm-up. That lets me kind of assess where...
the room, the temperature. Because I was going to ask that. It's almost a sexual connotation that comes with belly dancing. I mean, for people that aren't even performers or dancers or don't know anything at all.
Oh, no, they immediately associate it with that. But then they have a belly dance class, and they're like...
Wait, this is definitely not what I thought it was. Right. So with that, I guess you can say overhead, how do you kind of steer away from it?
Well, because back in, like, during the golden era and during the 70s, and a lot of there was a lot of structural dance where, like, your whole body would move. Whereas as we've progressed and learned and grown, and we've had these fusion styles come in and these other knowledgeable things, we've kind of moved into, for my style, we've moved into a shift between structural and muscular. So when you are dealing with a lot of the muscular, you literally spend probably your first 2 years of learning the art form, doing drills, learning how to muscularly lift your hip, release your hip, how to circle, how to shoulder roll without
all the extraness,
but how to actually
control it.
Yeah, so there's so much. I probably should have done that over here.
Yeah, give it to them.
You don't really see anything. But learning how to control the body, because it's beautiful chaos. You break it apart. You do all these drills, you break it apart, and then you throw it back together so it works
and then
together.
You have the, the final piece.
And then the expression of the sensuality, if that's the route you want to go, you can. Yeah. But then we also have, there's a lot of theatrical. Yeah. I have so many people come up to me after they see me perform, and they're like, I had no idea that it's almost like ballet.
Yeah, like, people don't know. And again, it's really associated with the sexual thing. I think I was in, I want to say Miami or something, and it kind of had belly dancers as an accent to dinner or whatever. And that's, you know, and that's kind of where people's minds stop with belly dancing. And so with you have a completely different outlook on it. Yes. How do you kind of take, I guess you could say, that terminology, not dumb it down, but fix it up to where the average person can really understand, you know, what you do as an artist, as a dancer, as a performer, as a professional?
That's a good one. Let me see.
That's a good one.
One dancer at a time.
Yeah.
And one performance at a time.
Yeah.
One performance. I'm kind of particular about where we perform or what we do. I really think that's a really big thing, because there are some places and things that I'm like, you know, we wouldn't ask ballerinas. Mm-hmm. So why is there that expectation? Now that there is, we do perform for parties. Yeah. We do perform at restaurants. Mm-hmm. We do perform on stages. Mm-hmm. We perform like for our style of dance and for our culture of dance. Mm-hmm. Anywhere is a stage for us. Yeah. We are, anywhere is a stage, because a lot of this art form was done in homes. Mm-hmm. It was done on the streets and in homes and at events, and it wasn't really put on the stage and
mainstream until.
Because there was Mahmoud Reda actually started really putting kind of theatrical style performances on the stage, and then the world was like, oh, this can be, but it can be elevated. Yeah. It can be so much more than just a pretty dancer in a costume.
I like that. It can be elevated.
It can be. You see how you work that in? It really can be. And it is by a lot of dancers. And like I said, Belly Queen, Belly Dance Evolution, you know, they've really elevated the art form. Yes. And, you know, the things that we do on our budget and on our scale has elevated the art form as well. And I just, it's really one performance at a time. I dance at the Greek Festival in Augusta every year. And I have so many people who come up afterwards and are just like
inquisitive, because I am. It's just different.
It is. It's different, and it allows, especially with dancers who already know, who've already performed, who are like, oh, my career's over. I'm 25. That's it for me.
Yeah, right.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. There are other art forms. Think about it. There's flamenco and ballroom and
salsa,
and there's belly
bachata,
dance oh my gosh. And if you open your mind and your heart to dance, and you open it to dance, it doesn't become world dance anymore. It just becomes dance. Yeah. It's not Western, it's not Eastern, it's just dance.
It's just dance.
And
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my mission now, is to like change people's minds.
I think people are more open, especially with social media platforms or social media period, giving us just a little bit more insight. You can see what somebody is doing, you know, in those places that they do, you know, belly dancing. So I think that it just gives people a little bit more insight on it. You said you were on tour with 2 different companies, right?
Yes.
What was that process like, audition-wise? Like, what does that look like?
Oh my goodness. It's a lot of video audition, because we do work with a lot of people who come from all kinds of different places. So it's a lot of video audition, and then working together, and then, you know, then knowing the ins and outs of your technique and your talent at the time, because we're always growing. Yeah. Our technique is always changing. It's always getting better. Yeah. The more time that you put in. So it really has like, it allows you to grow as an artist so much and to continue to go through the audition process. Because even though people have worked with you before, you still go through the audition process because all the boxes need to be checked.
Yeah, and you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
And then we learn everything via video.
Really?
You learn everything on video.
Everything is learned via
You
video.
learn it video. Then we show up and we have 1 week with international artists from all over the world
to make sure
to put it together and look like we've been a company that has danced together constantly. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Wait a minute. Okay.
That's a lot of work.
This wasn't just the pandemic. This is what
how
it was
it's
looking
been
like before.
This is how it's been done for quite a while.
Oh
And
my God.
well, when I met Keishi, she saw me perform at an event in Texas and was like, I want to work with you. Like come to New York, work with us. And then I went to New York for the week. I learned some things on video, but then showed up and really got a taste of everything else because it goes fast. That's why you have to know your technique and your,
you really have to know. That's a different type of preparedness. Like
It is.
That's a different type of preparedness because you can show me the choreo on a video, I learn it, but getting into a room with other professionals who have learned the choreography, probably not the same way as you, and you have to make sure you have a week long to make sure that
and that's a week from arriving to leaving.
Wow.
And all the costuming in between, because in
Right.
our world, costuming is really hard to find. It's really hard to find, you guys.
Yeah.
It's hard. So we make a lot of our own costumes.
Yeah.
We make a lot of our own costumes. We find designers. We have designers create our costumes. It's not like we can just, especially if you have a specific vision.
Yeah.
And then the costumes need to be able to fit multiple people.
Right. To switch them
And
out.
multiple body types, because we do not have a body type in belly
Yeah,
dance.
I was gonna say that too. I haven't seen a specific body
We
type
don't.
for belly dancing.
All
at all.
bodies are our type.
Yeah.
All bodies.
I love it.
Yeah.
So do the costumes have any type of, I don't want to say cultural purpose, but some type of, I guess, meaning? They do?
All of
Okay.
them. Well, and yes. So if you're performing a shabi, you have like I said earlier, like a shabi or a raksasaya. You have different costumes that go with that style.
Okay.
That not only give kind of an homage to that style, but also allow it to look more successful.
Yeah. Okay.
So if
Got you.
you're doing like a Khaliji where you're doing your hair, you have these big thobes. The thobes are actually used in the performance. So that's kind of a necessary.
Yeah.
But like with the bedlas were really made popular with
And what
like
is
the holly.
bedla? It's
It's like the
the
two
bra
piece
part. Oh, okay, got you. Got you. Okay.
I'm like, oh, I've got it in the car. I should have brought it in. It's like the two piece.
Okay.
And that was really made popular by Hollywood because dresses and like being fully covered is also a way that we costume.
Never knew.
Yeah, that's a way we costume.
Never knew.
It doesn't have to be two pieces, and then you can do like for the
I've
fusion.
seen the pants.
You can do
I've seen the
pants.
pants almost like Jasmine from Aladdin.
Oh no, you can do like yoga style pants.
Oh, really?
Like
Okay.
and then part leg pants, lace pants. There's all kinds of different. Melodia designs. She does a lot of different styles of pants that a lot of dancers have used over the years.
I love it.
So yeah, you can. It's not. But if you're gonna do a ballet fusion, you wouldn't wear a Saidi costume or Raksasaya costume for a ballet. So you would mix it, and whatever fusion you're doing, you would make sure that your costume would be appropriate to. But we costume for all body types.
Yeah, it's so funny because you literally were just saying that. I take it one show at a time or one performance at a time, one student at a time. That is so funny because, yes, you have to.
You have to.
Everything is completely different for each performance. And then, again, it's so many different things under this umbrella of belly dancing that you can't really just stick to one anyways. And then you've added fusion. So now it's multiple things that you're working on.
Infinite possibilities.
Yes. Like there is no limit. There is no limit. Awesome. So I want to kind of switch over into your performance for tomorrow. You're performing tomorrow, correct?
Yes.
what are you looking for any of your students? Or is it a solo piece? What kind of inspired the piece? Because we do have a choreographer doing a solo piece. So
I'm doing a solo piece too.
yeah,
I am
I
doing
love
a solo
to see
piece.
it. Yes. So what was the process for that? How did that look for you?
Well, I once again, for me, I'm an improv dancer. So my thought has always been, and I've always been an improv dancer, even whenever I was competing, you guys don't shake your heads out there, but even when I was competing, I'm going to show up, you're going to get authentically me.
This is what you're feeling right there in that moment. That's probably partly what makes you a professional.
It's
it, that you're able to kind of bounce off of it.
Yeah. And for me, it makes it was part of my journey. It was part of my journey because my story shifts and change and ebbs and flows like life does.
Yeah.
And I used to dance. Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys. I was like, I got to show you everything.
Yeah.
Like I used to really dance to prove, because when you're a little bit, less informed on your place in the world, or informed's not a good word. I don't want to say younger, but when you're a little bit younger,
when you aren't as knowledgeable,
when you're not as knowledgeable, informed, knowledgeable, you really do prove. Like you want to show that you have got what it takes.
Yeah.
You're,
hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got these. And oh my goodness, I had Turkish drops. It's where you do a back bend and flop to the ground.
Jesus, you was putting on all the tricks.
Splits constantly. I was trick pony.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
I was gonna get you. I'm a little more mature now.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do all those things. But I love to emote and storytell.
Yes.
So what I'm kind of doing for my solo is it's more of a vintage inspired 1930s kind of look. Okay. It is a bedla.
Okay.
But it's more on the fusion realm. Mm-hmm. And everything is I'm gonna do Dream a Little Dream.
Yeah. I'm excited.
But it's slow. You're going to be forced to watch me slowly dance for 3 minutes. But it's so much of ours is about achieving your connection,
personal goals,
your connection with the music.
Else. Yeah.
Yeah. No, your connection with the music, your spiritual, your interconnection, your connection with the music. We work with a lot of live musicians.
Yeah.
And we work with a lot of different music. That is one of the most important things in our style of performing, is that musical connection. Because your hips may be holding one rhythm and your arms are doing a different rhythm. And then this instrument comes in and there's a little trill from that instrument and you acknowledge it. You don't dance over it.
Yeah.
There's this conversation.
It's the musicality. Yeah, it's a conversation. I can't wait.
And that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not doing it with Eastern music tomorrow. I'm doing it with a very older style song with Western music, just to show that fusion is possible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think about it.
Nobody knows that. Well, I don't want to say nobody knows. The masses, I don't think, are really understanding of, one, belly dancing, and two, the fusion. Yeah. Again, unlimited opportunity, possibility. It's really endless. It truly is. And I'm sitting here intrigued because I'm like, I never knew a lot of the stuff that you were saying.
You're like, wait a minute, I want to look up some of these artists.
I'm like, I need to get into one of your classes.
Well, it's like last year I did this, and it's terrible. I'm working on my social media, you guys. I am. I'm really bad about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm 44. Leave me alone. I'm trying. I am. That's yeah. And a lot, like I said, a lot of people think that you're done, but you're not.
You're not, yeah.
And I'm for myself, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
I'm just getting started. Like I'm just getting to a point where even financially I can support my ideas. I think that's the because I have these really grand ideas, and then we have to make do with the
budget you have.
The budget we have, the props we have, the costuming, creating the things that we can. So that's
I love it.
Yeah. I forgot where I was. I talk in circles. I'm sorry.
No, we were going with that.
What
talking about your performance tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the performance tomorrow is going to be a little bit of it's going to be a little bit of that fusion and just showing you that the interconnection is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It is the most important thing to your music.
Yeah.
So and to your choreography, because in our world we don't we don't really have choreographers come in to create for us. We end up being the choreographers because we have events that are smaller events. They're called haflas. They're parties. And it's literally sitting for 2 hours and watching people express themselves and have do their performances.
I love it.
But it's not on a big stage. No lights.
So it's like jam sessions.
It's like jam sessions.
Like jam
and
sessions.
they get up with their costumes and they get to express themselves. And it's amazing watching the expression from the different individuals and their life stories and where they've been. And like I said, there's a lot of theatrical that is out there that can be created and has been created already, but has yet to be created when you have dancers that open their minds to include these other elements of dance.
Like include everything. It's fusion.
Exactly.
So jumping over to you as a judge for tomorrow as well, right? What are you looking for specifically? I mean, of course, it's going to be all different types of styles of dance, all different genres, whatever have you. But what are you looking for just overall as a performance or performer or piece? What are you looking for?
Oh my goodness. So I would say I've judged like 27 competitions at this point in my career.
Okay.
So I have a checklist that I do. I love to give feedback. So I will never just say, great job.
Yeah, and that'd be it.
Because that was done to me.
Yeah.
And I was just starting. And it might have been a good job, but tell me more.
Yeah, what do I need to do?
You are the one who has more experience in the eyes and you've seen more, like give me more feedback.
Yeah.
So I always will write as I'm going. So whenever someone comes on, I immediately take in how they've presented themselves. I'm not going to know their subject matter right away or what's happening or how they're expressing themselves, but I'm going to know, are you pulled together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you put, especially for our dance world, we have different things that we kind of look at, like, okay, does the costume fit properly?
Yeah. Is it not hanging off? Is it, right.
Are we, So you immediately look at that and you say, okay, so how are you pulled together? Because you can have a simple costume and be very polished, or you can be glitz and glam and it not quite be right.
Yeah.
So how you're presenting yourself, and then I can tell you within the first 30 seconds if you are connected or not.
Yeah.
I see it. The stage doesn't lie.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Yeah.
And if you are,
that's real.
it's honest. It's going to tell on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent.
It's going to tell on you.
Say something.
It's going to tell if you're prepared. It's going to tell if you're not in it. And if you haven't fully committed to leaving whatever it is that may kind of hinder you right before you go on stage, or whatever dramas you might be dealing with or things you might be dealing with. If you are not fully committed to that music to express, the stage is going to tell on you.
Yeah. So that's what you're looking for.
And that's what I look for. I look for within the first 30 seconds that I look for the connection. So I look for the overall, how
appearance,
the overall appearance, how the dancer has presented themselves. I look at the connection, and then I start looking for lines.
Yeah.
And then I start listening, especially for our dance world. I start listening to see
the musicality part.
Do you dance over your accents, especially for that style of dance? You kind of
missed a lot of beats.
Kind of didn't acknowledge that happened. Yeah. That's okay. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the way that you interpret the music. So I look for all that, the connection, the accents, where you go with the music, and lines. I look for lines. For lines, especially with groups. Yeah. Especially with groups. Are you together? Are you all looking the same way? Yeah. Are your bodies facing the same way, or is someone at corner 1, because someone's at corner 5, someo's at
right.
5, 1. Like, where are you guys at? I look for lines. Yeah. And then from there, I look for consistency.
That's always it.
I look for consistency.
That's always it.
If you have a good, strong, solid, consistent performance, and I see how you get on stage, how you get off a stage. Right. For me, I take all of that into consideration.
Right. Okay. So I don't want to say you're lenient, but you have a little bit more of diversity in what you're looking for.
I do.
Absolutely. Because like I said, I've interviewed a couple of people already, and they are like, no, did you practice or did you not practice?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
they're a stickler for like whatever it is, you know?
Yep.
And so you taking everything into account, I think it comes from the fusion.
It does.
It's in you.
It does. Well, and it comes from being an improvisational dancer.
Yes.
Because I can get up and give you a performance and you'll be like, oh my gosh, she had to rehearse that so much. I'm like, no, I just walked on stage and danced. Like,
Yeah.
But that is also a gift and a talent. Not everyone can express that way, you know, but for myself, and knowing that things can go awry on stage.
Yeah.
But if you know your piece, you know your choreography,
you know your music.
You know your music. Because you do need to know your piece.
Yeah.
You do need to know, especially if you're performing someone else's choreography, you've got to do that justice. You've got to know that. But if things go horribly awry on that stage, can you fix it?
Can you fix it?
Can you get out of it?
Yeah. Oh, that is so real.
Because no one can help you.
Yeah, but you.
But you.
But you.
I've had things happen. We've had things happen. We were performing one time in China. We did a 3-month tour in China.
Yes.
And it was wild. But we were performing, and we had just been, I mean, you're talking 37 performances and 30-some cities, and you're just going. And we're doing Alice in Wonderland. And there's Off With His Head, right? We're doing a performance. And someone kicked a head. They kicked a head from off the stage because we weren't dancing with them yet.
Right.
And it just goes rolling
And
across
it's just
the stage.
rolling.
And it's just rolling. And it's not the right moment. But you have flamingos on stage right now.
And
So on stage, the dancers are like, look at each other. Like, and one of the dancers is like, I got this. I'm going to fix. So takes the initiative, does this. She knows she's got 2 8 counts of something to make it, gets it off the stage.
Yeah.
And sacrifices coming back out on stage.
Then
everyone else has to adjust.
Yes.
And it's like, how are you in the moment, not ignoring that things have gone awry? Can you fix it? Can you come back?
But also sticking to what you know you were supposed to do when you hit the stage.
Also knowing your choreography.
Oh, my goodness. That's why when I talk about dancers, it's crazy. I literally tell you, it's not just a sport. You're not just an athlete, but again, like Christopher said, another one of the choreographers, he said you are an actor. You're also, you know what I'm saying? It's so many different hats that you have to put on when you're performing. So commends to everybody.
It's a lot. I mean, the
lot.
dancers work so hard, and I feel like so many times, like dance is just like, oh yeah, they're a dancer, and it's kind of skipped over. Like, no, but like you just said, no, it's not just a dancer. Look at the acting, look at the dedication, look at the lifelong dedication.
Yeah, literally
to the arts. Period. Like. And that was really hard, I think, during like COVID, when things happened so quickly, and then the art world was the first to be cut, and there were so many of us who were like,
"It was."
But what about us?
Yeah,
you know,
it was.
like, and you think about how important it is, and how much they work, and it's all the dancers, it's all the art forms, it's especially look at classical Indian dance.
Yeah.
The hand gestures. Their entire lives learning. Each gesture means something. Each eye movement means something. Look at Thai dance. Look at
everything. It's a lot. It's a lot. So for you to have done your homework and know your verbiage and know your lingo when it comes to this specific style of dance is commendable. Because again, you still even probably have a lot more to learn.
Oh, I'm still learning.
You know so much already, and it's good that you're able to again take that lingo and move it to, I guess you can say, general people or regular people's, mindset, so they can even process it or digest it, honestly.
And being at this particular convention, it's like there are a lot of Western style dances in this convention, and it's just nice to be that voice. Honestly, it's nice to just have a voice.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air.
For that realm of dance, because there are so many, like we have our own conventions and competitions, and I mean, at some conventions there's 400 dancers, 175 drummers, like it is massive. It's on a global scale. Every city you go into, I can literally contact a dancer in our world in every city I go to.
Wow. That is it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing, and just to be able to just be that voice and be like, hey,
Gotcha.
We're over here. Come on over. We're over here. We got some stuff going on.
ShoShannah, give the viewers just a couple of encouraging words, whether they're a performer, an aspiring dancer, aspiring belly dancer, just a couple of words of encouragement. Just what would you say to them?
My words of encouragement are be authentic to yourself. I think in this dance world, that's the biggest thing. Be authentic to who you are, where you are in your journey, what you're going through in your journey, because it's ever evolving and changing.
Absolutely.
Be kind to yourself. Oh, be kind to your
be
body.
kind, yeah.
Be kind to your body.
Yes.
Feed it. Let it rest.
Yes.
Do what you need so that you can have longevity in your career. And don't ever be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to step outside the box, go into another instructor's class. Even if you are an instructor yourself, never be afraid. Never look past it and be like, oh, I already know what they're teaching.
Yeah.
Stop in, hop in, be supportive of your...
Stop in and hop in. I love it.
Stop in, hop in, be supportive of each other, and because we are our family.
Absolutely.
We are our family. Like, be supportive of each other, be there, and check in on dancers, see what they're doing, be humble. Be humble, little humble
Humility.
pie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little humble pie, sit back, watch, enjoy,
Yes.
learn, grow, don't stop learning, and don't stop moving.
Yeah.
And don't stop elevating the art. I'm not even sure who I'm supposed to be looking at right now. When they elevate the art. Don't be afraid to take that chance and that risk safely. Be safe.
Right. Be safe. ShoShannah, we want to thank you so much. Listen, guys, please make sure you catch her performance tomorrow.
Yes,
right?
come on.
Tomorrow, she's bringing you some 1930s fusion.
I'm bringing you some thing and a little theatrical fusion for the master class. So, and these dancers will have only worked on this performance they're going to do.
Yeah. For
3 hours.
Yeah, for a couple of hours.
3 hours. That's
I'm excited.
it.
I'm excited. Again, this is the Elevate Fusic365 podcast, and we thank you so much, ShoShannah.
Thank you.
We'll
and
see you
thank
next
you so
time.
much.
Yes.
She's fantastic. I love it.